I came home because I knew that there were quilters in my community, and I wanted to do these pieces of these articles of clothing that were originally inspired from quilts, right? And so I came home and I just ran this little ad in the newspaper that said part-time hand sewing and quilting, and we got about 60 responses and about 20 women sort of stuck. And you know, from this just grew this decade-long exploration of you know, hand sewing, of women's work, of cottage industry, of labor law. You know, all these things sort of grew out of this. And so today we work with 100% organic cotton that's grown in Texas. We spin and knit in South Carolina. It's dyed in North Carolina. We cut, paint, and sew in Alabama. And then we have a group of artisans that sew everything by hand in their own homes, so using a really old cottage industry model of business. So everything is really grown to sewn in America, which is you know, very unusual today. Each piece is kind of a couture piece in and of itself. I mean, it's really from the beginning to the end been constructed by hand. Some of the dresses that we make can take a woman, you know, 6 weeks to complete one garment. So the only complaint that anyone's ever had about the work that we do or the company is that our pieces are extremely expensive, and they are very, very expensive because the product is grown to sewn in America. Our women, you know, embroider and construct every garment by hand, or pillow, or whatever the end product is. You know, they earn a fair trade wage, they work from their own homes, they own their own businesses, they set the prices for these elaborate embroideries that we do. We wrote this book called the Alabama Stitch Book and a follow-up book called the Alabama Studio Style, where there are actually garments that our garments, the patterns for those garments are in the book, and all the instructions to teach people how to do it themselves. What happened from that, it was really funny because a lot of people in the fashion industry said to me, you know, oh, you'll never sell another garment again because you're teaching people how to copy you. And I don't know, I just felt there was part of me that really felt that it was the right thing to do. We started getting all these emails like, now I really understand why the garments are worth so much and the value of it. Having this understanding, like this whole other part of the company opened, that we now sell organic fabrics directly to consumers. I think it's really difficult to describe exactly what Alabama Chinen is. You know, on one hand, we make beautiful handmade clothing of museum quality that sells in, you know, department stores all over the world. And on the other hand, we're also a company that's maybe rooted somewhat in education, you know, teaching people how to sew, writing books that teach and inspire people to do things for themselves. We have a quilting project coming up where going into inner cities and working with women in, you know, high-risk positions to sew these. In a way, you know, we are a fashion company, but we've become so much more than a fashion company. We hear this all the time, that people say when they purchase one of our garments, it's the first time they put it on, it's like that favorite garment that you've had your whole life. And I think that, you know, if we can continue to do that, that's a pretty good philosophy to have. In so many different ways, it becomes this holistic business. And that's really the goal, and that's really the company that I want to have at the core of, you know, what I do. So there it is. We had a group of clients flying from Japan the other day to their little studio in Florence, Alabama. It's funny, isn't it? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. May they keep coming. Come on. You know, I always say I'm kind of a little bit like the fool falling off the edge of the cliff. I sort of follow my heart, and I wind up, you know, in something much bigger than I originally intended it to be.